ones to have that education. So I agree absolutely. The education from the primary to secondary should be free for everybody.
All right, we'll talk more on infrastructure, but let's go over to our next line of conversation, where at independence in 1960, it was the dream of the founding fathers of Nigeria and indeed the world that the country attains greatness. While that lofty dream is yet to be attained, many people believe that Nigerians can look back to see how far the country has come in forging ahead in this journey to greatness. In his nationwide broadcast, President Tinubu expressed hope that despite many challenges facing the country, it remains a strong, united, and viable sovereign nation. Let's share that with you.
Exactly 64 years ago, our founding fathers chose democracy as a form of government and launched the dream of a great country that will lead the rest of Africa out of poverty, ignorance, and underdevelopment. A beacon of hope for the rest of Africa and the world. Over 6 decades later, we can look back and Nigerians worldwide can see how well we have succeeded in realizing the lofty dream of our founding fathers. The world is witnessing and benefiting from the can-do spirit of Nigerian people, our massive intellectual capacity, and our enterprise and industry in all vocations, from art to science, technology to infrastructure. The dreams that our founding fathers envisaged are still work in progress. Every day, we put our hands on the plow, determined to do a better job of it. While it is tempting to focus on what has been left undone and where we have stumbled as a nation, we must never lose sight of how far we have come in forging and holding our country together.
All right, Mikhail, the president talked about infrastructure development, but how have we fared? You know, from 1960 till date, how have we fared? Are we getting better, or what are your thoughts?
I think that when you look back, especially in terms of road network,
okay,
Nigeria has done very well. Nigeria has done very well because when we were young, at least we could literally count the functional roads that we had. But things have improved tremendously. More roads have been constructed. Rural areas opened up. It is ongoing work. So we still have a lot to do by way of fixing our deplorable roads. But in terms of road network, I would say we have done well. Before 1970, there was no dual carriageway in Nigeria. But later, we had, during the Obasanjo era, military era, we had the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. And then the first dual carriageway in northern Nigeria was constructed by Ibrahim Babangida. That is the Abuja-Kaduna-Kano Expressway. Okay. I even remember that it was the first Prime Minister of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe, that he invited to inaugurate the project. And they drove from Kano, because he landed in Kano, there was a Durbar for him. Okay. And they drove from Kano all the way to Abuja on that excellent road. That road now has been reconstructed, you know, more bridges have been constructed on it. The Buhari administration using funds from the Sovereign Wealth Fund, as well as the Abacha loot. We are almost done with that road. When you look back, Malam Aminu Kano International Airport is the first airport in Nigeria. It began operation in 1936. It actually started operation before the one here in Lagos. Today, look at how many airports we have. Look at how many airports we have. So, again, it is...
With the growth,
you see, we need to get the private sector more involved.
Okay.
Let's have PPP initiatives. That's the only way we can maintain our roads.
But I've heard arguments that, okay, the quality of roads back then and the quality of roads now, back then was better. But what are your thoughts on that?
You see, the thing is, the pressure on funds at this time is far greater than that time, because it's a country that is expanding, the population is greater. And the rate of use of the road will eventually get it eroded. In those days, those roads were very... If you are driving, even some of the roads that I will all constructed,
exactly,
but they are not dual carriageway. Our society, in terms of our country, in terms of the number of vehicles plying roads, are far more than before.
Far more.
So if you don't expand those roads, people will die. There will be more accidents and head-on collision, especially on narrow roads. But those roads, I agree, were very durable. The roads constructed by L.A. Banjoko, Dumez, and the rest of them. They are solid, but we've had to now expand them because it's inevitable. Population growth. Look at Nigerian population in 1963. It was just a little over 50 million, less than 60 million. But today we are talking about 200 and
over
something.
200 million.
So and with greater population, there's greater pressure on infrastructure. So we must find a way to maintain the infrastructure. That's why I said we must bring in the private sector
involvement.
Government cannot fund roads alone. In fact, they can't pay. A lot of the contractors, they are owing their contractors trillions of naira. So until we bring in
private sector,
yes, we won't be able to solve some of these problems that we have.
How will
infrastructure? In terms of infrastructure, I would say that we have done very well. From 1960 to date, we have done very well. In fact, actually, the only thing, the number one thing you can credit government, successive government in this country for, is in the issue of infrastructure. But we have done exceedingly well. Even the military, as they set us back, most of the bridges that you see in Lagos were built by the military.
Yes.
You understand? And so each government improved on the state of infrastructure in the country, and they've done well. They've done well when it comes to infrastructure, especially during the regime of this immediate
former President
Buhari. They did a lot in terms of infrastructure. Different things. They collected a lot of loans, did a lot of trains, did a lot of roads.
I think it's rail transport that we've not done well.
We've not done. But now they've started concrete.
Because they've done. Yes, that's what I said. When it comes to roads, we've done well. Even during that Buhari's government, they introduced the idea of companies building roads and then using it as tax relief and all that. So when it comes to infrastructure, I think we have done very well.
Because of our time, the president spoke to Nigerians today. I'll just give you 30 seconds. What do you make of the speech?
I think it's a good speech.
Did it address?
It showed empathy.
It showed empathy.
The president showed empathy. It's a very nice thing to tell people that, look, I understand what you are going through, because it is economic challenges that is paramount now, that is number one in the country now. And I was able to tell Nigerians that, look, I understand, I feel your pain, I know what you are going through, and we are working hard to solve that problem. That is very good. And then he was able to now have some things that they plan to do and to give hope. Because when things are tough like this, you need to give hope. That, okay, we are working on the economy, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and very soon things will start changing. So I think, by and large, it's a good speech.
All right, Biko, we all saw this speech. What do you make out of it? You talked about that. The empathy was there. What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's inevitable. A leader must show empathy.
Sure.
People are going through a lot at this time, so it was good that he talked about it. He cannot pretend not to know that people are going through a lot, you know. And he talked about that. Yes, and the need for us to continue to sacrifice. What Nigerians will be happy to see is for progress in the areas where he's making progress to continue. For example, the president came to government at a time when we were spending about 97% of our revenue to service debts. That has improved. It's now in the region of 60, I think 67.
67,
yes. So that's improvement. And more money is coming in.
Yeah,
because
we can see that in
they are blocking the avenues through which resources are leaking. So more money is coming in. We are beginning to earn a lot more.
Okay.
And I know that their plan is to even reduce the human interference, which ensures that people are able to steal money. We're going to get technology involved.
Okay, good.
And so that our revenue generating agencies, the incidence of theft, stealing what to go to the country is reduced drastically by the infusion of technology. So they are working along that line, and I know that that will bring results. Okay. But Nigerians need to see the pain that they are going through east. Whatever we say, no one will remember that some progress have been made until they begin to see progress in terms of their welfare.
Exactly.
So the issue, I want to see the price of petrol come down, for example. Yeah, whatever we are doing, whether it is Naira for crude that we are doing with Dangote, it must end up in the reduction of the price. Yes. And thankfully now, the landing cost is going down.
True.
Across the world, they are reducing the price of gasoline, even reduced, because the landing cost is going down. It has responded to the global decline in the global prices. So Nigerians want to see that petrol price go down. Nigerians want to see the value of their currency appreciate. Because everything revolves around it.
Yes.
If we are unable to do this, just give me a little 1 minute. If we are unable to do that, whatever the government does,
it will not.
People will say, no, they've not done anything. That is always my advice. I told President Buhari at that time, I said, if you build houses in the sky for people, if they remain hungry, they will not credit you with achieving anything. And that you can't even bring any discussion about what the government is doing. People don't want to hear. They are concerned about the
True. But anyway, thank you very much, gentlemen. How time flies. I wish we had more time. We could have, we could have talked a lot more. No. But anyway, thank you so much, Mayor. Thank you very much for having this conversation. The veteran.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having this conversation. And that's it on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 and join us on Sunday from 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. for Journalist Hangout on Sunday. We are on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I am Benga Oreshegun. Happy Independence Day anniversary once again, and God bless Nigeria.